Welcome back, you beautiful souls. This will be part 0B to the new series, the Halloween special of What If Deku Was a True Alpha. Now, about an hour ago, as of recording this video, I put out this poll. Specifically, should the Midoriyas know other families with money? Because, quite frankly, and I forgot one part of the sound cut offs and why I'm really irked about what's going on, and hopefully this video is different and we don't get the issue the what I did hopefully fix the problems. But in one of the videos, in one of the cutouts, Inko did ask Hisashi why did he help her, and Hisashi explained because of the type of work that he does. He helps those in need, less fortunate. Hisashi's family, he comes from old money, old money, money from 50 years before our time. And the My Hero Academia world is supposedly 100 to 200 years after our own time. So the 2100s and 2200 era, somewhere in that era is when this MHAs supposedly take place, because they're more technologically advanced than us, but they're not that drastically more advanced than us. They don't have colonies on the moon kind of stuff. Though with modern technology, how fast it's progressing, that may change during that time frame, but that's neither here nor there. So basically, with Hisashi, he comes from money. He has money, and the work that he does is charity work. He does work with help getting soup kitchens set up, setting up getting grant money and stuff for a bunch of different charities that exist. That's the type of work that he does. So I put out the poll, and it's should the Midoriyas know families with money? And this wasn't necessarily about Inko, Deku, and Hisashi, their family, Deku growing up knowing. One moment. Pardon the interruption, but I kind of dropped my pen and I couldn't see it, so I had to actually look for it. Okay, that's where it was. So, Izuku, it was this poll right here. It wasn't about Izuku knowing families like the Yaoyorozus or Ida's family. It was more of, does the Midoriyas, as in Hisashi's family, know other families like the Yaoyorozus, which does, by extension, allow Izuku to possibly know other characters in 1A before they actually meet in canon. Specifically, the Yaoyorozus, but no, that's not where this story is going to be going. So, our story for this episode begins about a year before Deku's birth, and Hisashi is, I'm not sure if he's canonically older than Inko, but I'm gonna say they are about they're the same age as though they are in canon. Inko was really Inko in canon was 26 when she had Izuku, because she's 42. She's 42 when Izuku's in his first year of UA, so that would have to have made her 26. 6 plus 26, 32 plus 10 is 42. So 16-year-old Izuku was born to a 26-year-old Inko. So during this time when they had moved into the city, Ingo is pretty amazed. Like, she never knew that Earth was like this. She had heard stories about other Koreans, like there's stories about Earth, but she herself never saw the Earth of her timeline in person. She's heard stories, she's seen video communicate and videos of it, but she never herself actually saw like a human city. And she's like, she has explained to Hisashi like the differences that she knows of like what Earth should look like compared to, but really you can understand why. So Inko, she's kind of made a name for herself with the humans as a great inventor. She's made several advancements in medical technology, whereas like surgeries that could take a like a few out like several hours, she's been able to shave off like a quarter to sometimes even 75% of the time that's necessary to actually do certain surgeries. So she's slowly been making her own money, not relying on Hisashi's to like basically get the things that she needs to be able to get home. Though over the past like couple of years, she has slowly started to think that maybe living out a life here wouldn't be so bad, because she really has fallen for Hisashi. I mean, for Christ's sakes, they got married. And so she's even invented cuffs that All Might would have some issues with. We're not talking Prime All Might, but we're talking non-Prime All Might. So on top of the money that Inko has made with Hisashi, they pretty much have a really good life. Though some things Inko misses is the showers. Actually physically having to actually wash certain areas and it just not get automated kind of stuff. So Inko and Hisashi buy a building near, and mind you, this is a year before Izuku was born. Inko and Hisashi buy a building near where Canon Deku and his mom live. They begin to remodel it. Hisashi is amazed at what Inko's able to do. The things she's made are, well, quite literally out of this world. One day, a few months after they started to do the remodeling, and by this time, most of it's done. They're just fine tuning things, aesthetic things. And Hisashi is literally amazed because he never thought some of the stuff she's made was even possible, and he has asked her why she doesn't sell some of these things, and she's like, well, I don't want to interfere too much with your species development. There's some things that your people need to figure out for themselves. Though it's going to change, because she quite literally could advance the human's technology by hundreds of years just from her own knowledge. Right now, even with people that have super intelligent quirks, like Principal Nezu and a few other really intelligent people, she's smarter than them. Just And it isn't because, like, they may be able to think faster than Inko. Like, some of them may be able to think faster than Inko, but just because of the sheer base knowledge of her world, she's smarter. Like, the science that she knows is more advanced than the science of the MHA world. So, that being said, she has given the building some upgrades, like the security system that she's made. They basically bought like a 3-story building near where the Midoriya's in canon live. And Hasashi is just this whole time he's just been thinking, and it's like, the accident never happened, I would have never met her. And so one day, Inko collapses and kind of vomits a little bit. Hasashi comes running over and he says, "Honey, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And she says, "Yeah, just feel a little queasy." And Hasashi like kind of helps her up, and he goes, "Inko, dear, do human and Quarian hybrids exist in your world?" No. No, wait. There was one viable child, but most died in utero. Why do you ask? Hasashi, with a look of horror on his face, asks, "Were the mothers okay?" And Inko, like, after getting scale on her face, she says, "The humans, yes, they were all fine, but us Quarians, there were a few that had complications, but it wasn't life-threatening. Because of medical advances, and, well, even without those, it wouldn't necessarily be a problem. It's just issues of toxicity and stuff that could potentially happen with the fusion of the DNA and stuff that's over your head here." And then she says, "Why do you ask?" "Dear, I think you're pregnant." "Wait, what? How can you?" And then she says, "What?" And Hasashi nods yes. So she does run a few tests with like some of the medical equipment that she has there in their house, mind you. And she's waiting, and she's kind of pacing back and forth, like speaking in her native language. It's like, how can this be? I mean, obviously it's possible because there was the one child from like Shepherd and Goddess Talia, but like that shouldn't have happened. That this can't be happening. The reason that happened was because of biotics. But like, how? Oh my God! What am I gonna do if I have the complications? Then there's gonna be that issue. But oh no! Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! And she's just kind of rambling on. And Hasashi finally just like kind of grabs her and says, "Dear, it'll be okay. I hate to say this, but if it's looking like you're going to get harmed by carrying this child, we should probably get rid of it." Inko just kind of slaps him, and she's like, "I would never do something like that. Do you know how hard it is for Quarians to conceive children? I mean, it was a lot from when we were in the migrant fleet. We had to go through huge ordeals to even just conceive a child, let alone have them. And then when we got back to Renok, even with the help of the Geth, that's right, the Geth. I wonder if he's still alive. I wonder if that implant's still active. I've never even thought about it. I can't even communicate with it. It should still be alive. Wait, I could..." And she kind of does like a face palm. She's like, "I never thought about doing that. And she, while they're waiting, she kind of explains more about the gift to her. And Hasashi's like, do you think that's a good idea, dear? Because they were. And Inko's like, no, they're totally fine. Like, it's just the way our ancestors. Max, he's actually a really cool guy. He's probably pissed off that he's been trapped. Oh, God. So she does start working on like a little device with some of the stuff that she has, and she's like, and then the test finishes, and it comes back that she is indeed pregnant. And Inko slowly over the next following like months, she does start to show very rapidly, and she, like, Hasashi's like, they really don't know what to do, because like, Inko really doesn't know how, like, what's going to happen, but she was able to create a device that allowed, she's not able to transfer Max over to like a different housing, so he's kind of stuck in her skull. Well, she, like, Max is genderless because the Geth are an artificial intelligent species. So when she's done creating this device, she kind of puts it on her neck, and she curiously says, Max, are you still there? And Vice kind of trips, beeps, and everything, and then she says, Max, are you mad at me? Sorry, I forgot about you. You're there. And then the device pipes up, and it's like, I've been screaming this whole time, Inko. What's going on? What happened? Like, you haven't talked to me in 42 cycles. And then Inko's like, Max, I'm sorry. I thought everything was burnt out. You remember the experiment that we were working on? Yes, something like you were trying to create a new engine involving tachyons and biotics. What happened? Where are we? Why can't I sense why haven't I been able to sense, like, our surroundings? Well, Max, the thing is, we're not in our timeline or universe, and, well, I'm pregnant. Wait, what? You're pregnant? Inko, this is amazing news. Like, so, like, there's gonna be a new little Quarian running around? And then Inko says, Max, I'm pregnant with a human. And the device just stops. And a few moments pass, and Max says, oh dear, that's very, very concerning. What's the medical facilities like for this planet like? You do know that there's the potential of your blood becoming toxic, but it's not life-threatening, even if it became toxic. With me being in your body, it shouldn't be that of an issue. I can kind of regulate that for you if you want, Inko. One moment. Yes, the device is still active. I can still help you, but it won't be 100%. I won't be able to prevent your blood turning toxic, but I can filter it if you are able to create other stuff for me. And Inko just kind of relieves, like, a sigh of relief. And Hasashi's like, so I'm taking it that voice I was hearing is a gift? And Inko like speaks in English and like Japanese and English, kind of mixing the two. Yeah, he's Max. What do you want to be known as, boy or girl? And I was like, oh, you can just call me Max. It's fine. Okay. Oh, you're such a drama queen sometimes. It says that the blood toxicity, it shouldn't be an issue, but I could get really sick. It would be almost as though the first generation of Quarians being born on Rana. Kind of stuff. So it shouldn't be that hard, but I won't be able to work too much longer, dear. So, wait a minute. Let's backtrack. Yeah, they did find out and confirm they were pregnant in Inko. Yeah. Sorry, I lost my place in my notes. So, Hisashi is ecstatic at this. He's like, so I won't lose you if our child is born. And she says, you won't lose me at all, Hisashi. And there's, now that I have a child with you, I don't think I can go back home. I mean, if I do, I would be leaving you. I don't even think it's possible for me to bring you to. Let alone, like, myself. And she does kind of start breaking down a little bit and seeming like she's crying. Hisashi just kind of walks up to her and he kind of comforts his wife, and he's like, this is new to me too, dear. Our relationship, there's never been something like this. I mean, there are quirks and that has brought like certain challenges, but as far as I know, there's never been an alien and human getting together. Inko kind of like nudges him in the side, and he's like, I didn't mean anything by that, dear. I was just saying what it is. You're technically an alien to me. And she just kind of nuzzles her head into his chest, and she's like, I know, dear, I just... Oh, pregnancy hormones. We can switch moods more so than what is known for you humans. So stop here. These conversations are happening inside their house. They would not talk like this in public as fear to draw attention. Hisashi, he could do hero work, but he just doesn't want to test the waters in that way. Though he could. So this would bring challenges for Izuku. And they're concerned is if, like, with Inko's DNA and, like, Quarian DNA mixing with human DNA, if the child that she's carrying will even survive. Let alone if it will inherit the werewolf side of the family. So months pass and shows more and more, and she is able to create like robots that are able to help her build things that will be needed during the birth. She will have a home birth just because the less poking and prodding that happens with her blood, the better, kind of thing. If she was a werewolf, it like definitely would be a home birth because, whew, when women of Hasashi's family are having children, they can't really control when they morph. They kind of morph in and out, and it can be quite obvious that they're not. It's not a quirk. So, like, the day finally comes, and Inko, like, Hasashi is standing outside while, like, these robots and stuff are doing their thing, and he's pacing back and forth because Inko is screaming, like, and she is basically saying, like, English and Japanese and also her native language. God damn, this hurts! This hurts! This hurts! And so she then, like, eventually Izuku is finally born and he's put into a pod. She finally is allowed in by the safety protocols that she had, and she's very weak. Like, she's really pale compared to her natural, like, purplish skin tone around, like, her ridges. And she's really exhausted, and she looks over and puts her three-fingered hand on the pod that young Izuku's on, and she's like, she looks at Hasashi and she says, "I did it. We did it. Does he look normal?" And Hasashi looks into, like, the glass, and she's like, he has your ridges, and he has my eyes. He has my nose and eyes. He has your ridges and your mouth, dear. And his ears, they look funny. They look kind of like both of ours. He has your hair structure. And Inko just kind of passes out. And Hasashi freaks out, and he's like, Inko. And then he hears a voice come over. Hasashi, she's fine. She's fine. She's just exhausted. Any mother would be after giving birth to a child for 8 hours. Don't worry, she'll be fine. Just give her some rest. And with the help of these other things and me inside of her, I'll make sure that she doesn't die on us, okay? Because if she dies, that would be very, very bad. She's the only one that could create something that would be able to let me interact with the world. It would be very bad to live all those cycles, and I almost went mad the last time. And Hasashi says, "Thank you, Max. Is it safe to bring Izuku out of the room?" And Max says, "It's totally fine. He will have to stay in the observation pod for a while, just to make sure he's okay, but he should be able to come out in a few days." So a day passes, and Inko wakes up, and she's like, Hasashi! And Hasashi's like right next to her, and it's like, it's okay, dear. Where's the baby? Is the baby okay? And wait, you said I have a son? And because even though they would have been able to tell the gender of the baby, like the sex of the baby, she wanted to be surprised, and he pulls Izuku out because they had been said, and kind of hands the little baby to Inko, and he asks her, like, "So what should we name the little one? Should we give him a Korean name, or should we give him a human name?" And just like, well, Izuku, it's kind of a both. And, well, as far as his origin, we could call him Boss Midoriya. And I mean, Hazashi's like, what does that mean, Voss? Like in your language. It's like a little structure that you put flowers here. And Inko says, well, Voss it's an outdated thing, and a lot of Quarians don't do it anymore, but it's from when we were in the flotilla, the migrant fleet. It's to note what ship you're from. And me being Voss Rannoch, it kind of symbolizes I'm from our home world. Yes, Midoriya. Hasashi, it's not really that big important. So his name would be Izuku of the Midoriya. I like that, but we should probably drop the Voss except amongst family, you know. Inko says, yeah, I think that would be a good idea too. Oh god, what are we gonna do for his Quirk? Because he has... Well, they don't have to do blood tests for that, dear. It's more like we can just register that he has your Quirk, and we can update it later if it turns out that he has my fire breathing. Like, quirks don't usually come in until they're 5. Well, mutation quirks are a different story, and that's what we've been able to play off your, well, abnormal looks. And she just kind of glares at him at this with her black eyes and yellow irises, and he's, dear, you know it's not like that. It's like, you don't look like, even for people with mutation quirks, you look different than most. I guess you're right. So, over the next few years, Inko will make friends with other moms in the neighborhood, specifically a particular blonde-haired woman who looks very young compared for her age. When Inko finds out her age, she just goes, "Whoa!" And the lady goes, "That's kind of funny. That's a little funny." And so she is able to, like, actually make friends with someone, although most humans are, let's just say, dumb. For lack of better words. I don't want to use the word primitive because, well, Hasashi kind of thing. So they do, like, in the woman, this is Mitsuki Bakugo, and Inko introduces herself as Inko Voss Normandy, or not Voss Normandy. I've been playing Mass Effect. I played Mass Effect a little too much. She says, Voss Midoriya Inko is my name. And Mitsuki's like, that's really formal. You said your last name's Midoriya. There was that one. Are you by any chance related to the billionaire philanthropist? Would you? Wait, you're Inko Midoriya. Yes, that's what I said. I am indeed Inko Midoriya. You're the inventor, Inko. Ah, yes, that's right. A lot of people know me about that. What are you guys doing? Like, you live around here? Yeah, we kind of decided to move away from the family, and well, I didn't want to. I wanted to live more amongst normal people, not the super rich. And well, we later had little Izuku here. And we don't want him growing up any different. We want him to not be spoiled, be compassionate like his father. So, like you said, yes, my husband is Hasashi, the billionaire philanthropist, as you call it. Mitsuki is a little taken aback by this, a little bit. And she says, "You talk funny a little." And Inko kind of laughs a little bit and says, "Yeah, I've been told that. But, so, which one of the little ones is yours?" As Inko looks out into the playground, and Mitsuki points out the little kid. That one. That one must be yours. The hair's a dead giveaway. And Mitsuki kind of laughs at this. Yeah. And as she's looking over, like, she notices an explosion. And Izuku, he does, like kids do, are wary of approaching him because of his appearance. And he does get made fun of because of it. But when he gets home, when he, like, Inko has talked with him about it, that she's sorry about, like, looking like her, and Izuku being the little 4-year-old. It's like, Mommy, it's not bad. It's just, some kids can be mean. I know that. So, Izuku, he will be more intelligent in this, and, well, because of his father, he'll be faster, stronger, smarter, because of his mother. In this, she will teach him things when he gets older. For now, she wants him to grow up as human. And she will occasionally get caught talking in her native language with Max. And at those moments, like, Max does pop up. And then, so, back to the playground. They're about 4.5. Well, Izuku's 4, and Bakugo is 4.5, and this is where his quirk is starting to come in, and he creates explosions, and Izuku does the whole whoa, like, kind of, like, I can't do it, voice is too raspy, but he does the whole whoa thing. Katsuki, like, Kachan, your quirk, it came in. Because this has been a whole day. And Bakugo's like, yeah, I finally have a quirk. It's better than your weird quirk. And Izuku looks down and he's like, that's kind of mean, Bakugo. Making fun of people because of their appearance. And it's not something I can control, okay? Inko comes walking over, and Mitsuki does too. And she's like, "Whoa, your quirk's you have an explosion-like quirk. Very interesting. It seems like your parents' quirks fused. Like, you don't just have your mother's nitroglycerin sweat quirk. You also have your father's ignition quirk." And he's like, Katsuki, he looks up and he gets a little afraid because, quite frankly, a person with 3 fingers, like two fingers and, like, thumbs, kind of reaching down, picking up, like, Izuku, and Izuku was weird. Like, he has 4 fingers. He has the in between. Like, he has three fingers, and then like the thumb. And Inko picks up Izuku because he seems a bit, and she's kind of comforting him a little bit. And then Mitsuki's like, "How did you know?" And this is when Max pops up, and he's like, "Oh, that was me. Inko has been able to make a few upgrades to where she has a device in her ear, and she pulls out the device in her ear, and she says, points to it, and then she's like, "Hi, my name is Max. I'm what you call an artificial intelligence, created by yours truly." Lying, because obviously Max wasn't created by Inko, but he's like amazed by this, and Katsuki is too, and he's like, "Whoa, wait a minute, you're Inko the inventor. That's been all over the news lately." Inko like kind of smiles and looks down at the child, and she's like, "Yes, yes, young one. I am Inko. I am Inko of the inventor class." And Konski says, "Mommy, she talks funny." And Mitsuki kind of like taps him on the back of the head. "That's not. That's that's rude, Kotsky." And Konski goes, "I'm sorry." And Inko's like, "No, that's fine. I know I talk weird. It's just it's been difficult for me to adjust to, well, Japanese speech. I can just speak English a lot better than I can Japanese." And Mitsuki says, "Oh, you're multilingual too." And Inko goes, "Yeah, I can speak Japanese. Well, my 2 best languages are, well, English and Japanese, but I also know some French, I know some Russian, I can speak German a little bit, and I'm currently working on other languages. But. So, Bakugo, was it? The and then Inko kind of like puts her fingers up to her eyes and goes, "This thing, it's a scanner of sorts." And then she puts it back in her eye. And Max, he kind of told me he can kind of analyze DNA. It's, well, people with my family, we can be very sickly for a while, and it's more so to just monitor my little Izuku here. And I'm sorry, it's overreaching bounds, but it. And at that, Izuku begins to cough a little bit. And Mitsuki, for a good bit, was a little worried about that. And then, like, Izuku does like actually begin to like cough, and he does cough up a little blood. And Mitsuki's like, "Is he okay?" And Inko says, "It's fine. He'll be fine. I just need to get him home. He's going through, his immune system is a little different than most. Eventually he'll grow out of it. He just needs to take his medications daily." So they do part ways. Inko does, like, when she gets home, she's smiling, and so is Izuku. Like, she has Izuku on, like, her shoulders, like, like a parent would carry their child, like, on their neck, on the nape of their neck and everything, where, like, their 2 legs come down, like, in chest. And the Sashi is just getting home, and he's like, "You two seem in a good mood. Anything interesting happened?" And both of them kind of say, "We made friends. We made new friends." And Sashi smiles and is like, "Oh, tell me all about it." So Inko goes in to explain that she made friends a with a human female. And Izuku looks up and he's being a little kid, doesn't really mind touch this. And Sasha's like, oh, what are they like? Well, she has this quirk called she sweats nitroglycerin. That's very, very interesting. As far as I know, nitroglycerin can be a very potent explosive. If she ever collected it, she could create very wondrous explosions. Hasashi, gremlinously says, you're not thinking of... Inko goes, no, I would never. So, Inko, walks over to a cabinet and pulls out a device, and then she walks over to Izuku and puts it to his neck. Izuku kind of struggles, Mommy, it feels weird when you do that. And she pushes a button and Izuku kind of jumps a little bit, and then he relaxes, and she's like, Inko leans over, picks him up, and is like, baby, we have to do this. And Izuku's like, it's fine, Mommy, it doesn't hurt. It just feels weird. And Inko's just kind of rubs her own neck, and she's like, yeah, that part of our body can be really sensitive sometimes. So, their day ends, and now we're going to cut to several years later. During this time, Izuku is growing up. He gets picked on, but not for being quirkless, because through the eyes of other people, he obviously has a quirk, a mutation quirk. And Izuku, over the years, has picked up a few instruments, and he's able, even though he only has, 3 fingers to actually make notes, he's able to play, guitar, and he's able to do certain things with his hands that most people can't do, even with 5 fingers. The dexterity of his fingers is really high. And he's the smartest kid in the class. He's not the strongest, but he is the most agile, because he does do dance, and he gets picked on for that. But when people see him dancing, they're just kind of awestruck. And Bakugo and him are friends. Bakugo does tease him about his appearances, but it's more in like when you joke with friends kind of thing. But when other people pick on him for his appearance, Katsuki gets a little pissed off and says it's not nice picking on people because of appearance, something they can't control. And they yell at him, was like, yeah, well, what about you? You pick on him sometimes. And it's like, that's different. He knows it's just joking. The nerd even picks on me for, my quirk, calling me Explosion Boy. And Izuku, Deku does go, yeah, but Kachan, it fits your quirk, explosions, you're a boy, so therefore, ergo, you're Explosion Boy. And Katsuki's like, Deku, you damn nerd! And Izuku kind of starts running off at this. So Izuku does get picked on, but for different reasons than being quirkless. So we're going to be cutting to the story to about about 2 years before the start of canon. Izuku, he has slowly started telling his mom that for some reason, he can start smelling things he shouldn't be able to smell, and this has concerned Inko and Hasashi, and they begin to think about it, and they do talk, and they do eventually decide to actually sit down and explain his affliction. But the day they decide to do it, they said, well, wait, that can just be my side of the things right here. Because, like, Koreans, I would say, have a better sense of smell than humans, so they don't know if it's the werewolf or the Korean thing, because they do have a better sense of smell, and they can see, do have a better sense of sight. So they said, well, we'll definitely know closer it gets to his 13th birthday. So they decide to tell him on his 13th birthday, and his birthday comes around, and Inko picks him up from his martial arts classes, because Asashi did want his son to be able to handle himself in a fight if it came to it, if he's not able to transform. Because hunters do have tech that can stop a werewolf from transforming. So if worst case scenario, if a rogue hunter decides to hunt him, he wants his son to be able to handle himself in a hand-to-hand situation. So she picks him up, and Izuku is a little ecstatic, and she's like, Izuku, is everything okay? And Izuku's like, yeah, Mom, everything's okay. I met a girl in class today, like a new girl joined, and she has a pretty cool quirk. Her quirk is gigantification, but it's weird. She can only enlarge, like, her arms and hands. Because Inko's like, whoa, that is very amazing. May want to have a conversation with her. And Izuku's like, Mom, that would embarrass me. Oh, do you find her pretty? And Izuku's like, no, it's not that. It's just her quirk. It's amazing, and she's really good at martial arts. She's actually gave me a run for my money. Oh, she's like that then. Very, very interesting. Well, we should be getting to where your father, he's set up a few things. So they make their way out to the city, and Izuku, he starts feeling weird as the night starts to come. He's like, Mom, I don't feel too good. And his teeth do begin to, like, change, and his facial features change a little bit. And this all but pretty much confirms it for Inko that he does have the werewolf gene. And she's just thinking in the back of her head, and Max is kind of talking in her ear. He has it. He definitely has it. Even I couldn't analyze it, because it's the way it works. So when they get there, Izuku they have a party, and they do plan on going on a run. Well, not Inko, but Hasashi plans on taking his son on his first run. And their first transformation, it looks like he's already starting to show signs of it. And it could happen anytime where he goes through a full transformation, but it's weird. His eyes flicker like glowing glowing in and out. And Izuku has shown signs of being a biotic, which is weird because no one in Inko's family was a biotic, but that could just be because of her massive exposure to dark matter and the biotic storm that she was involved in. So the night progresses, and then Izuku, he does end up falling asleep, but then he wakes up and he can smell something. He can smell blood. And he sees a bunch of bodies, but then he sees this huge creature. Looks villainous, and it has a bunch of cuts and everything. And then he sees it. He sees his mom in its hands, and he just loses it. He begins to morph, and his eyes, he's like, get away from my mother! At that, he goes into a full bestial transformation, and Hasashi is freaking out at this because Izuku's way, and I mean way bigger than what he should be. And then he sees it. He sees Izuku's eyes. They're glowing a crimson red. Glowing red, and he's like, wait, he's all... And before he could finish that, Izuku, he unfortunately kills his own father in a very brutal way. He basically shoves his hand through Hasashi's chest, and then Sashi coughs up blood. He slowly puts Inko down, and he picks up, and he just punches Deku, knocking him out. And Sashi's like, damn it, oh, but I'm killing, but... coughing up blood and everything. And before he can pass out, he smells a familiar scent, and I was like, God, she made it. Sis, don't tell her. Don't take them to that mansion. Take them to that city, please. And Hasashi, he dies. And Izuku then begins to revert back. And before Hasashi, finally, passes out, he just says one word to his sister. True Alpha. And his sister, goes wide-eyed, and then she finally sees Inko, and she basically grabs Inko and the young Izuku and jumps, and does several jumps before she gets to civilization, puts the two down, pulls the bag off of her back, puts it down, then de-transforms and quickly changes into less revealing attire. And she thinks back, just like, damn it, he's gone. Brother's gone. I only have these two left as family. And things in the pack aren't going well. There's been a rise in hunter incidents. Damn it, Sasashi. You should have. I can't think of that now. I need to get these two to the hospital. And before she can take the two to the closest hospital, she hears something. She's like, you must be Hasashi's little sister. It's very, very sad he's died, but you should go to this hospital. There's a particular person. Reach into Inko's satchel there on her side. There's a car. You just press a button and throw it out. Like Hasashi's sister does do voice, and Max kind of explains that he's an artificial intelligence that is an assistant to Inko. So she does it. They get to the hospital. One of the nurses on duty sees her, and then she sees blood on her, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And then she's like, I'm fine. It's just my sister-in-law and my nephew. They've been in an accident. And then she the nurse says, "Wait, are you?" She basically runs up to Sashi's sister. Sasa. Sus. Sasada. We're gonna say Sada. She asks, and it's like, you do know that they treat humans here, right? And Hasashi's sister looks at her, then sniffs, and it's like, "You're..." And the nurse says, "Yes, I'll get the doctor on duty that handles our kind." Wait, the other thing, what is that? It smells like... Wait, did he kill... Auntie Sosre says, "No time for that. My sister-in-law is in very bad condition, and the boy, he just went through his first transformation." And the nurse is kind of gets wide-eyed, and so they do get in, and the doctor when the doctor comes in, Inko looks up, and she's like, "Oh, good, you're here." And then he looks over, and he's like, "Ah, Hasashi's wife, and the young boy." He walks over to the door and pushes a button. Shades come down over the glass, and it fogs over. And then he tells the nurse to kind of gesture to leave, and she does, and he looks at Inko and he asks, "Is it okay for her to be here?" And Inko says, she knows. And so the doctor closes the door, and he's like, "So the little boy, he does have our side of things, and it seems like he's been doing pretty well. Why hasn't he woken up yet? He should be awake by now." And Inko starts breaking down, crying. She's like, "It's my fault. It's my side that's doing this. I don't know what's going on. He could die. It would be my fault. I should have never let him..." And at this, Sasashi's sister, and then she's like, "Sasashi's gone. He's dead. Sorry for what you said. And Deku, he's gonna be distraught when he finds out what he's done." Oh God, why has that happened to me, to my family? Why? with that, she is able to calm Inko down, and they do. The doctor says from what we can tell, he is doing okay, Miss Midoriya. Or Voss Midoriya. He is doing very well, but it's weird. It seems like his quarry inside is fighting the other side. And Inko's like, yeah, what's the thought that we were over that hurdle? So a few days passes, and Inko does have like bandages, like does have like a bandage, like an eye bandage over like her left eye. So what had happened is Hisashi was mistaken to be part of a pack, and well, he defended himself. And Inko was attacked too by other wolves, to say, and they were setting up funeral arrangements. So Inko sitting there, and Izuku wakes up and he looks at his mom, and Inko begins to cry, and Izuku's Mom, where am I? What? And then Izuku says, and Inko's like, baby, my child, I'm sorry, your father and I had you. Please do not hate me. And Izuku's like, why would I hate you, Mom? As like his face morphs and his eyes like begin to glow red. And she's like, Izuku, are you okay? And then she's like, I think it would be best if we wait until your aunt gets here to explain everything. Me and your father were going to do this last night, but we'll discuss that after. So she comes in, and Izuku's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, little Izuku, it's been a while. I'm sorry these past few years I haven't been able to come and see you. But there's some things me and your mother need to discuss with you. So they go in and they explain their different sides of it. Izuku's just shocked. He's always thought he was just human with a mutation quirk, but his appearance isn't a quirk, it's genetics. It's just him being an alien of sorts. Inko's like, you aren't human, Izuku. I'm really sorry. And Izuku's like, Mom, no, it's fine. And his aunt says, yeah, that's going to happen for a little while. You should probably avoid people, and you should probably not eat any red meat for a few weeks. And Izuku's like, why? And he'll be like, and she's like, do you like the taste of blood? And Izuku's like, no, I don't like that. And she's like, yeah, your taste, your senses will be elevated, and well, with you being something of you being different from the rest, we'll talk about that more. There's also something very sad that we need to discuss. And Izuku's like, yeah, where's Dad? And then Izuku looks down at his hand as it begins to morph, and then he smells it, and he's like, no. Did I And Izuku then really breaks down at this. His aunt kind of pushes Inko back, and then like actually transforms and holds Izuku down, and she's like, "Calm down, young one. We're in the hospital. You caused a lot of other issues besides this. It shouldn't have happened the way it did, but your first transformation was more brutal than most. You did something that would normally be taboo and be cause for your death. But in this, you will deal with this later. But right now, you need to calm down. Control that rage. Control it, Izuku." Izuku then slowly begins to take a couple of breaths, and then he's like, "I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry I'm a monster." And both his aunt and his mom says, "You're not a monster, Izuku. You're just it." And with that, you beautiful souls, I will end this part here. Part 1 will go over the year of Izuku from him being there in canon. Izuku will have to deal with the fact that he's not human, well, entirely, that he's a werewolf, and that he's an alien, and also the fact that he ended up killing his father. Yeah. Like, comment, and haven't already done so, and let me know what you think of this so far down below. With that, I will see you beautiful souls in the next part, and I hope what I did fixes the issue that I had. If not, I'm going to be really upset with this. With that, see you beautiful souls in the next video.